The new iPad 11 is Apple's best value iPad ever, but should you buy it when you can get the iPad 10 for only $269? So in this video, we are gonna show you guys all of the differences to make sure that you do not make a huge mistake. Now we have links to both of these for the best deals down below, so make sure to check it out. And I wanna say that some people have been complaining about this iPad 11, saying not enough things have changed, but there are actually some secret updates that you probably don't know about, which we will cover. Now, looking at the backs, they look pretty much the same, but you might notice that the new iPad 11 does not even say iPad on the back. And with that, all of our regulatory little text is also not on here. So this might be one of the cleanest iPads. Who knows how long it's gonna be until they remove this Apple logo and it's just gonna be one slate. Now, Apple did something sneaky with this iPad 11. So as I turn it on right now, you might see online that they're calling this an 11-inch compared to 10.9, but the screens are actually identical if you look at the specs. And now let's see if Apple changed anything with the speakers. Apple has surprised us before, but in this case, the volume is very similar. The highs might be a little brighter on the new iPad just because of software tuning, and I really wish these iPads got a little bit louder. And with that, just to confirm, these are still non-laminated displays on the new one. It's nice to have that, but these are cheap iPads and it's much easier and cheaper to replace. Now, the next thing I want to compare is Geekbench Lite, because the iPad 10 comes with 64 gigs compared to 128 at the base level. So let's go ahead and take a look at the performance differences here. And right away, not only do we have double the storage, look at the speed here. In terms of read speed, we have 802 compared to 1,556, almost double the speed to read out and load applications. And then for write speed, 476 compared to 917, also about double the performance because we have double the storage and chips inside. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit more about storage and if it matters and what difference you need, but I will say 128 gig is a nice sweet spot. And now let's get into the real differences. And I have Geekbench 6 opened up right here. And the first thing that you'll notice is that this guy, the iPad 10, has 4 gigs of RAM compared to 6. And that means you can have more applications opened in the background or tougher applications. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start the CPU test. One secret that the iPad 11 has is that its A16 chip that is inside is not the same one that came in the iPhone. It is actually binned, meaning it has 5 cores compared to 6 with this A14. So let's see how much of a performance improvement we actually get. All right, guys, this is actually quite interesting. Looking at these scores, this is not what we expected. Single core score, we have a difference of about 25%. So that actually is a really good improvement, and multi-core score is also about 25-26%. Now, looking at this score right here, 61-64, if we go and compare it to the iPhone 15 with that same chip, that got 6,300, just slightly higher. So even though we're missing one core, the performance is close, and they could just easily be overclocking it slightly to make up that performance difference. So that's an excellent result. And now let's go ahead and switch over to the graphics. But first, our sponsor ESR has their flip magnetic case and a screen protector for this brand new iPad 11. And this case is great for overall protection from drops, but it also has a pencil holder built in for security. You have this beautiful finish that feels really nice in your hands, built with premium materials, and when you need to store it away, it covers up so you don't accidentally scratch the screen when it's in your bag. You can use the case in both vertical or horizontal thanks to the unique trifold design that is really stable on any surface while giving you viewing angles from 25 to 60 degrees, which is nice, and it's really affordable at only $22.99. And finally, this Ultra Fit screen protector has the easiest install with 2 steps. Simply place the iPad into the Ultra Fit tray, close the lid, and pull. Apple. And now you have a dust-free and bubble-free installation while giving you 2 times stronger protection than the competition. Go ahead and check them both out using our links in the description or the pinned comment below. The other interesting thing, which we have a theory on, is that this chip is also binned on the GPU. It's so rare, Apple doesn't really do that with a chip on the iPad, but after the scores, we'll let you know why. All right, and now we're seeing the downside of this binned chip. We have 17,089 compared to 19,891. That's not that big of a difference in terms of graphics. And if we go over here, we take a look at the iPhone 15 that also uses that chip, 22,689. So that is the difference between having a 5-core graphics like the A16 used to come with, and now downclocked and binned to a 4-core on each one of these systems. The performance is not that great, and that generation jump was because of core count. Now, earlier last year, we saw that Apple began making A16 chips in Arizona right here on American soil, and we were wondering, why are they making that? Well, that chip is now in this iPad, and in order to have that ramp up and chip production go well, it makes sense to be able to bin. That's why we have this result. Now, we could have some different results in terms of gaming performance compared to compute. So I have 3D Mark opened up right here. So I'm gonna run the Wildlife Extreme in the unlimited mode for gaming. And here are the results. We have 12.1 FPS for the iPad 10 and 15.5 frames per second for the iPad 11. Now those numbers don't seem that different, but that is close to 30% difference in performance. So it looks like if you are going to be gaming, the GPU difference is absolutely there. And to really test out the devices, I have Call of Duty Mobile opened up right here. We're gonna test out how smooth it is and also the thermal performance. But first, I wanna go into these graphics settings right here. And look at this, guys. The iPad 10 with the A14 maxes out at very high graphics quality compared to the iPad 11, which has a max setting, meaning you're gonna get better graphics. So I'm starting out with the iPad 10 here, and I'm gonna play for about 5 minutes. It should be enough to get this to heat up nicely. All right, got that guy. Okay, so far, for the most part, everything's smooth. I had a couple times where stuff glitched, but that could happen on both devices.
Nice.
Okay, got him. Gotta adjust these controls. Ah! No. Should I went to sidearm? Okay, got him.
Nice.
So kind of got destroyed there on that round, but let's take a look at the heat. We have more at the top there, 30.8 degrees. Fairly even overall. Let's take a look at the back of the device. Definitely hotter. That's probably where the chip is, right above. So around 30, just over 30 degrees at the peak. And now we got the iPad 11 with the A16 in here. Yep, my controls are totally different on this one.
Nice.
But let's go ahead and see how this runs. Had a little bit of a glitch there. No! All right. Come here, guys.
It is a better iPad.
Yep, I'm playing better. That means... Wait, you guys are not shooting him? What's your problem?
Yes!
Am I out of ammo already?
Dude, that gun shoots fast.
Yeah. I will say, when you have iPhone settings adjusted and you're going to iPad,
Dude, you're killing
it
me.
ain't fun, but... Oh, there you go. There you go. We finished off the round strong. Okay. Yeah, better graphics for sure. I had one glitch compared to maybe 3 or so on the other one with worse settings. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures. Okay, looking at this one, okay, that is interesting. We had 30.8 at the highest point of the previous one. Now we're seeing, what, 28.9, 29.
What?
This thing did not reach 30 at that point where the chip is at. Now, I was not expecting that at all. Let's look at the back. 29, 30.4. So the other one was hotter in the front than the back. So looks like we have lower temperatures, higher graphics, and better performance. I thought for sure this thing's gonna get hotter with those higher graphic settings, but it didn't. So if you guys are gonna be playing mobile games, this just proves that the iPad 11 is definitely far superior to the iPad 10. Now, another benefit of the new A16 is Smart HDR 4 that is included instead of Smart HDR 3. So let me go ahead here and I'm gonna take a selfie with that light. The camera hardware is exactly the same. So here is my photo. Can I see a difference? Well, both actually get the light without blowing it out. Looks like the new iPad 10 is actually raising the shadows more so, but let's take a look at the detail on my face. I mean, very, very little difference. So I know most people don't use their tablets for a lot of photography and that kind of stuff, but it's mostly just the processing. So with all those tests done, should you buy the iPad 10 for $269 right now or get the new iPad 11? Well, I have to talk about value because these are value iPads and $269 is such a low price. But if you guys take a look at that storage, if we go back to that 64 gig versus 128, I mean, this is a massive difference that most people don't think about. Looking at our storage right here, you guys will see that I only have 32 gigs available on the iPad 10 compared to almost 100 gigs on the iPad 11, and I only have a few applications actually installed. If I go all the way down here, iPad OS and its system data is taking about 16 gigs out of that 64 minus formatting, meaning so much is taken away where here you have all that extra. And my daughter actually has iPad 10 and we couldn't even get iPad iPad 18 installed on the device because she had photos, she had videos, it just simply wouldn't fit even to update. So it's been a nightmare trying to manage her files, do updates, have her be able to use the iPad with such little storage. And on that device, you had to go from 64 all the way to 256 gig storage. So there's no middle ground and that costs so much, you might as well buy an iPad Air. Now, with the iPad 11 and the crazy $350 price tag that Apple lowered, you have the perfect balance. Great price, you have double the base storage, so now it's perfect to have applications, media on there, be able to have updates, and not to have to stress and worry and deal with that. And to me, even if you don't think about the A16 chip, the better performance, and the other comparisons that we did, that makes the extra price well worth it. Even comparing to buying an iPad 10 with 256, that still costs about $100 or more than getting an iPad 11. And that is too much storage for more people. So if I were you guys, don't make the big mistake. Don't buy the cheaper iPad 10. Use our link below and get the iPad 11. This is the best value iPad that Apple has ever made. Go ahead and click that circle above to subscribe to see more videos if you want to see it compared to the new iPad Air. Check out one of those videos right over there. This has been Max, and I'll see you in the next one.